It was over at that moment.
13 seconds.
There's no excuses. All right, this is an explanation. They had a great season, but the injuries just it was too much to overcome.
Okay.
Now, I don't want to take anything away from Seattle because they were banged up last week 18, San Francisco, and they only beat them 13-3, the Seahawks. Yeah. So they put it on them. That was great. But I just think, obviously there was no Kittle. McCaffrey got banged up, even though he played a little more. And Purdy couldn't, do anything. So, look, usually I reserve my grades for the Cowboys, but since they're where they always are this time of year, on the couch watching the game with the rest of us, I got a grade for the Niners, specifically Brock Purdy. Now, this could speak to the whole team, but just to show I'm objective, Brock Purdy gets a D.
Oh, wow.
He gets a D for this game.
Purdy. But it wasn't Brock's fault. 49ers exit early.
You want to sing?
Yeah, well, D, I disagree that it wasn't Brock's fault. Wasn't that the whole song?
Wow.
Now, I will say it is hard to go play in the East Coast. Okay, and they were beat up. They played the East Coast. They come back. They've got a short week. Those are difficult. Seattle's rested, and I think that their tank was empty. But when you look at Brock Purdy, I went back and in the advanced passing stats, they have a stat called off-target throws. And in the postseason, his first postseason, his on-target pass percentage was 71.9%. Okay, his second postseason, his on-target pass percentage was 68%. This postseason, his on-target pass percentage was 41%. So to say it wasn't Brock's fault, and I think you might have to revise the song to be, it was partially Brock's fault.
It was some on him for sure.
It
he had
more
2
Brock's fault
turnovers.
Than
But it was everybody.
I'm workshopping it.
It was a team effort.
What went wrong for the Niners holistically is they were too injured and ran into the best team in football. Like that's the bigger picture. Furthermore, I think one of the biggest losers of this weekend probably is the Philadelphia Eagles watching this. Like that team came to our house and ended our Super Bowl defense because the Niners were punching over their weight in that Eagles game. And again, they are a better team than they showed Saturday night, but Seattle has been just a machine throughout the year. They don't even need their quarterback to play great, to be great, and so that's what it is. But since we're asking about Purdy, and since it had been a discussion all year, and Brew got very mad at you a lot, I do think it's fair to do a final tale of the tape.
For what?
Well, you advocated that maybe they should have stuck with the hot hand in Mac Jones. So if you do look at the final tale of the tape of Purdy versus Mac Jones.
Is this for just this game?
No, it's the season.
Oh.
And
you make a compelling argument.
I'm not saying one's better than the other.
You're not saying Purdy's better than Mac Jones?
I'm not saying anything.
No, I'm asking why.
No. Let me rephrase, bro. It's interesting you said that. I am not saying the guy on the right who has the objectively better stats is better than the guy on the left. I'm not saying that.
No.
Okay, first off, guys, I love how Nick always wants to just troll as much as he can. He really does. He drops the banner against Josh Allen. He wants to say the biggest losers are the Philadelphia Eagles. Wants to throw Brock Purdy under. It's just like he's hitting all the beats. All the beats. I do not watch this game and blame Brock Purdy. Okay, I don't think anyone watches this game and just says Brock Purdy wasn't good enough. Okay? And listen, I've said this before, M. Jones can probably be a really, 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 really good quarterback in the NFL with the right coaching staff and team around him. So, we keep using M. Jones as like, he's not better than M. Jones. And it's just like, yeah, I think we've learned over these last few years just truly how important coaching is. I've always known how important it is, but we got some pretty easy layup examples for people who don't care enough to understand how important coaching is with the Sam Darnolds, with the Daniel Jones, with the Baker Mayfields, etc., etc., etc. We got a crash course over these last few years where you could be the biggest doubter of the importance of coaching or just immediately be this quarterback's not good enough and realize maybe coaching and the team matters a little bit more than anyone wants to give credit for. So we can keep using M. Jones as this like low-hanging fruit to be like, even M. Jones has success, and it's like, well, maybe M. Jones is actually a pretty good quarterback. Do you ever think about that? Is that shocking? But I'm not so convinced that M. Jones beats the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm not so sure about that. I'm not so sure when we talk about the mobility and the legs and stuff. And again, I don't care about this season right now because Brock Purdy was literally in and out of the lineup. He was literally injured, taking time away. Like, it's just it's a weirder season for him to unfold. M. Jones was really impressive. And I'm not going to turn this whole segment into a Brock party versus M. Jones. I'm just not, because I could defend both of these quarterbacks, quite frankly. But it's just absurd to use this moment to try to downplay Brock Purdy. I mean, I don't know. Listen, I don't think Brock Purdy is this absolute superstar bona fide elite top 3 quarterback. The problem is that we use that then as a reference point as to be like, see, he's not even worth it to be the starter, or that he's like not actually a big major contributor to wins. And I just wholeheartedly disagree with that. And they did just go up against the better team, and they got smoked. They absolutely, positively got smoked. They got destroyed. They got lit up. Absolutely. There's just no ifs, ands, or buts. And this is the funny thing about some of the conversations that we have, where when we pick and choose when we want to compliment a quarterback, a coach, because I didn't think they were going to get smoked this bad, but I personally had the Seahawks winning this game. It was the only game that I was actually confident who was going to win and lose. And it was just, to me, it was just an obvious situation where it was like, the Seahawks are a great team and they're really healthy. The 49ers are not healthy. I understand you beat the Eagles. I do not trust Eagles to get the job done. That win to me was really impressive from the 49ers, but also highlights just how dysfunctional the Eagles were. And the Seahawks proved that. And I think what the 49ers were able to do was incredibly impressive this year. Really, really, really impressive, and was awesome to watch, awesome to witness. But this is what I said, and again, I think Shanahan is an elite coach, a top coach in the NFL, but everyone ripped him last year for not finding a way through the injuries, and then this year he finds a way through the injuries, and we use that as a reference point of what great coaching can do. And it's like, well, if he survived the injuries this year but he didn't last year, what's more the reality? And people were praising Brock Purdy and the 49ers for being the Philadelphia Eagles, clearly what should be in a better roster, et cetera, and saying, see, Brock Purdy found a way through it, Shanahan found a way through it. That just shows you how great they are and how bad the Eagles are, or whatever. And then it's like, okay. And then what happens when you get smoked in this game? And was it because the coaching wasn't good enough? Was it because Brock Purdy wasn't good enough? Or is it because this thing is just a little bit more complicated than we want to understand and give credit for? Which is why you now can't reduce this conversation to saying, Brock Purdy just wasn't good enough in the playoffs. And hey, just for fun, let's compare Brock Purdy to Mac Jones. It's like, whoa. Can we slow down on that part of the conversation right now? Can we like chill for just a second? Can we take a beat for just a second? So, but yeah, this is, again, I expected it to be a little bit, I did not think it was going to be 41-6. I'll be honest with you, I thought the Seahawks were going to control the game and win the game. Thought it was going to be I thought there was going to be a little bit more action for Brock Purdy and the 49ers, but the Seahawks defense is legit. And if you have a truly elite defense, which the Seahawks do, and you are healthy, which the Seahawks are, and you have elite defensive coaching, which the Seahawks do, and you're going up against a duct tape Superlou offense with the 49ers, which they have, then this right here, the 41-6, and getting demolished is going to be on the table every single game. I'm not saying it's going to happen every single game, but it is truly on the table. In a blink of the eye, it's like, yep, yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. The defense is literally bigger, stronger, faster in every sense of when compared to the offense. And so I don't blame the individual players in those moments. Same thing when the when the Chiefs lost to the Philadelphia Eagles and they got smoked, it was like, I didn't blame Patrick Mahomes, I didn't blame the players. It was like the Eagles are just better. We could zoom in and say, hey, there was times for that Patrick Mahomes could have made a play and he didn't, throw in an interception and whatnot, but I don't blame him for the loss. It's like you just went up against a better team. The team was significantly better than yours and you lost. The Eagles were significantly better than the Chiefs. They got rocked. Sometimes that's just the way it works. Doesn't matter how great the coaching or quarterback is, but at the same time, sometimes there's moments when that coaching or quarterback player, a couple individual players can overcome and really make it competitive, because in a lot of ways, I do think it's more of a coaching league than a players league. And we saw that with the Los Angeles Rams versus the Philadelphia Eagles. The Philadelphia Eagles were clearly a lot better than the Los Angeles Rams. And yet, that came down to the final play. And in that moment, coaching was able to really elevate. Quarterback play was able to elevate. Puka was able to elevate in a way that maybe, say, Andy, Spags, Mahomes, Kelsey were unable to against I'm just using the Eagles because they both played each other. And so really the Seahawks, as long as they just did their job, as long as each individual player just took care of what they were asked to do, they were always going to win this game. And now if they executed at the highest level, which is what the Seahawks did, then in hindsight, we were always going to get a blowout like this as well, because there's just nothing for the 49ers to do in that moment. There's just nothing to do, and that's just the way it goes. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about Brock Purdy and the 49ers? What do you think went wrong for them? Do you think this was just bad play by the 49ers? Bad coaching? Do you think it was just Seahawks are just a better team, as much as it's painful to admit? Obviously, for a 49ers fan, let me know your thoughts. I read every single comment. So, whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get into some discussions. Let's get into some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here, and absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. It really does help the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.